Kia ora everyone. Today was a slow start in the small cap market and I nearly sat the session out. I watched a few setups pre-market but didn't feel confident enough to take a position. Eventually OMH gave me a decent opportunity after the bell. I took one trade, got shaken out a bit early, but still locked in a small green day. With just one trading day left in the month, I'm focusing on staying disciplined and finishing strong. Let's take a look at how it played out. And if you're on a trading journey too, hit subscribe to follow along to see how I finish out the month. So I'll just bring out the charts here. So the first stock I saw this morning was WLDS, and it had already made a move up to around 260. So I saw it here as it was pulling back to around 250. I didn't jump on it. I didn't think it was going to go very far. It had already made a decent move for a cheaper stock. So I sat on the sidelines with this one, didn't take that trade there. And it rolled over. I watched it here. It had a massive amount of selling around 215, 216. There were just big orders on the ask. Eventually it broke, and when it did push up over the VWAP, but I didn't want to take that either. I thought it'd done its big move, and this was on the backside, so I didn't take that trade either. So that was WLDS. Next one I saw was ABEO. ABEO. This was around $6. And I saw it around here at 606, $6 in this area here. It did break and go higher, but when I saw it here, it was kind of light volume and I didn't really like the look of it. It had these big jackknife red candles, big topping tails through this section here. So I didn't trust that this would hold. It did put in an okay move up to 667, but really I didn't trust this stock, so I didn't trade that either. WLOLF was another stock that was sort of up this morning as well. Where did I see this? This was around here that I saw this around 7 o'clock, sort of trading underneath here, really light volume. Not really looking good. I missed it when it broke VWAP here, but I just didn't want to trade it. This stock didn't meet my criteria for stocks I wanted to trade. It had the right price range, but it had a float of 124 million or something. So too high a float, didn't think it would go that far. It did push to 490, but I didn't like the look of that one either. And then HIMZ popped up. This was on light volume. It popped up from $12 up to 24. I saw it when it hit around 21. And by then it had just crossed over 200,000 shares of volume on the day. So it had popped up on light volume, and you know the amount of volume going through these candles here pretty minimal. So too expensive and not enough volume in that one for me. And then LFMD. This stock popped up, where is it? Popped up here around 8 o'clock, and it popped up to a high of 829, and I saw it when it made this candle here. It popped up to around 780, pulled back, had this candle here, and then flushed down and then ripped up to around 830, 829. So I missed that there. So in that candle there, it flushed all the way down here and then ripped up to 830. Missed that, and then it pulled back then pushed up again over VWAP. But it had all these topping tails and dojis, and I just didn't feel confident that this was going to hold up that well. And then it had these decent red candles here, and then it just went sideways. So I didn't trade that at all. It did pop again around before pre-market, but I was watching OMH at that time. So OMH was the next stock that sort of came up, and this is the stock I eventually took a trade on. So in pre-market, this popped up here around 9:15. I watched it pop up to 348 and then pull back. Pulled back, there's 4 red candles here, and I didn't take any dips on this. I didn't want to take any dip trades, or look, I wanted the stock to, prove itself first before I took a trade. But this stock met all my criteria, apart from I couldn't find news on it. There was no news on my platform, and I had to go to another platform to find what the catalyst was. I think it was to do with their something that was trending or something like that. So it did have a catalyst, but not great. So wasn't quite sure whether I should take a trade on this or not. But it pushed up here to VWAP and sort of dropped down and then held. And I thought about taking the entry here as it came back and retested the VWAP around 260, 265. But in the end, I thought, no, I'm just going to see what it does. And I sat on the sidelines and watched it push up to around 310. So it would have been an okay trade actually, from 265 up to $3, around $3, $3.10, through this area here. Where is it? So on this candle here, I was looking at buying in around there on the VWAP and looking for it to push higher. Bit of an aggressive entry there, but I kind of like that trade where it retests the VWAP and taking there. Probably a more safer entry would have been as it broke through that level at around 280, 275, as it confirmed that it was going to break over those previous green candles. And that still would have been a decent trade up to $3, $3.10. But I sat that out, and then it pulled back, went sideways, and I didn't trade it here at all. It's too low. But I thought at the open, I will take a trade if it breaks that consolidation sort of level there at around 275. If it broke over 275, I'd look at taking an entry and looking for the push back to around $3 to test that pivot point there. So that was sort of my plan going into the open, and I'll bring up the video, and this is how it played out. So I'll just do it 2 times speed. So market opened, actually, I can't see the time. There we go. So market opened, it pushed up, it broke through 275. I took my entry a little early there. I had pushed, I put an order in at 275 and I pushed the buy button as it broke through the VWAP, and kind of could have waited a little bit longer, as I didn't really want to be on in the first candle. But it pushed up to about 280, 282, and then it pulled back. So it wasn't quite going how I thought it might. I thought if it broke over that level, it might push straight up to $3, but it's been pretty slow. It was pretty slow that day, so buyers just weren't sort of coming in on this stock, and it wasn't the leading gapper, a leading gainer on the day. So there was a couple more that were ahead of it on the scanner list. But then it pulled back, and that sort of gave me a bit of a fright when it pushed or dropped down to about 255. And then it bought back up. So I thought, oh, I've got a chance to get out break even. And then I thought, no, I'll just give it a bit of time. Some volume coming in on the green side. It pushed up through VWAP, hit that resistance point about 282 again. And I thought, no, I'm just going to chuck an order and get out. And I got out at 281. And that was probably a bit early. If I'd held for my price target of 295, which was 20 cents from 275, I actually would have got that if I'd been a bit more patient. But when it dropped down here and flushed down here, I kind of got a bit shaken by that. So I thought, nah, I'm just going to get out. It did push to 295, $3 I think eventually, but that was my trade for today. Probably could have just sat the day out really without a trade. Is really most of the stocks this morning were either light on volume or just we're a bit risky to get in. For me anyway. So still end of the day green, but only up $7.08. So I actually bought 118 shares on that. So I'm kind of buying 80% of my account at the moment, depending on what I'm trading. So it might be a little bit over 100 shares, or like yesterday, it was only like 25 shares. So compared to yesterday, I actually had a 36-cent winner yesterday, but I only had 25 shares and it's only made $9. Whereas today, I only got 6 cents out of the market, but 118 shares, I made net profit or gross profit, sorry, of $7.08. So yeah, still got a bit to do on that. So hopefully a better day tomorrow in the market, and I can end the month with 3 green days this week and go into next month with a bit more confidence. It's still going to be a red month for me. I'm not recovering that in one day, so have to be a bit more onto it next month and be a bit safer and a bit more disciplined in my trading. And that's a wrap on day 40. Not a big win, but a win nonetheless. I stayed patient, avoided overtrading and stuck to my plan. Only one trading day left this month. I'm hoping to finish strong and maybe build a little confidence heading into next month. If you've been enjoying these daily recaps, hit the subscribe and follow along for the rest of the journey. See you tomorrow. Hei ao pōpō.